You don't create wealth by constantly pursuing money. Real wealth begins the moment you accept it as part of your identity. The outer world always reflects the inner story you believe about yourself. So instead of focusing on what you lack, step into the feeling that your life is already overflowing with abundance. Hold on to that feeling, and over time, you'll notice reality beginning to align with it. Stay with this message until the end, because repetition plants ideas deep within the subconscious mind. Once an idea is accepted there, it naturally begins to express itself in your everyday life. This is far more than temporary motivation. It is an intentional transformation of the way you see yourself. When your identity changes, your circumstances inevitably follow. Tonight, we are exploring two of the most life changing words you can ever speak, followed by two simple declarations that have the power to reshape the direction of your life. I am rich. I am abundant. These are not empty wishes or hopeful prayers sent out into the universe. They are not requests waiting for approval from some outside force. They are statements of identity spoken from the deepest part of your being, the creative center where every experience begins long before it appears in the physical world. Let's explore why these words carry such extraordinary power. The phrase I am is one of the most influential expressions in any language, not because of tradition or superstition, but because it defines how you see yourself. It tells your subconscious mind who you believe you are. It is not simply describing your reality, it is shaping it. Think about it. When you say, I am exhausted, your body responds accordingly. When you repeat, I am afraid, your thoughts become smaller and more limited. In the same way, when you confidently declare, I am rich, I am abundant, something begins to change beneath the surface of your awareness. Your subconscious starts accepting this identity, and from that moment, your inner world begins reorganizing itself around that belief. The mind does not respond to words alone, it responds to the feeling behind those words. Your consciousness is the true source of your experience, and the world around you is simply a delayed reflection of the state you consistently occupy within. If this principle is true, and it is the foundation of everything that follows, then lasting change does not begin by fixing your circumstances. It begins by changing the way you see yourself. When you affirm, I am rich, I am abundant, you are not repeating a sentence in the hope that something magical will happen. You are introducing your subconscious to a completely new self-image. The subconscious does not stop to question whether your current bank account supports that belief. It simply accepts what you consistently impress upon it and begins working tirelessly to express that identity in your external life. However, words by themselves are not enough. The real power comes from feeling them as though they are already true. That is the difference between empty repetition and genuine transformation. To truly create a new reality, you must live from the end. You must experience right now the emotions you would naturally feel if abundance were already your everyday life. Imagine for a moment that wealth is no longer a distant goal, but your present reality. Don't observe it as an outsider wishing it would happen. Step inside that version of yourself and experience life through their eyes. How would you feel if financial stress no longer occupied your mind? What would your breathing feel like if every concern about money simply disappeared? Picture yourself moving through your day with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they always have enough. Notice the ease in your posture, the calm in your decisions, and the freedom that comes from living without constant worry. Think about the generosity that naturally flows from someone who never doubts there will be more. A person who feels abundant doesn't cling to every opportunity out of fear. Instead, they give, create, and move through life with openness because they trust that life continues to provide. This inner feeling is where true transformation begins. It isn't the affirmation itself that creates change. It isn't visualization alone or any particular technique. The real creative force is the emotion behind the experience. Feeling is what impresses the subconscious mind, and once that impression is made, the creative law begins working without pause. Many people immediately raise the same question. How can I possibly feel wealthy when my bills keep arriving, my debts are real, and my bank account tells a completely different story? That question is understandable, but it is based on looking backward instead of forward. Your current circumstances are simply the visible result of thoughts, beliefs, and emotions you repeatedly accepted in the past. They are not a final judgment on your future. They do not define your value, your potential, or what is possible for you. They are only a snapshot of previous states of consciousness. Those conditions hold power over you only if you continue treating them as the ultimate truth. Every time you allow today's circumstances to determine your inner state, you reinforce yesterday's beliefs and recreate the same experiences again. Instead, begin living from the destination rather than the journey. Accept the feeling that your desire has already been fulfilled. Let your future become so emotionally real that your mind begins treating it as your present experience. Even if your senses argue otherwise, continue returning to that inner certainty. An assumption consistently held with genuine feeling eventually becomes reality. This is not blind optimism or positive thinking. It is the operation of consciousness, functioning with the same consistency as any natural law. Consider a simple principle. Every external condition begins with an internal state. If one creates the other, then you don't have to wait for circumstances to change before changing yourself. You can reverse the process. Most people believe they must first receive money before feeling secure. They believe success must arrive before confidence appears, relationships before love, or achievements before self-worth. But that approach places the power outside themselves. The truth is exactly the opposite. When you cultivate the feeling first, external life gradually reorganizes itself to reflect that new inner condition. You don't become wealthy because wealth arrives. Wealth arrives because you first become the person who naturally expects and embodies abundance. The change always begins within. Once your inner identity shifts, the outer world has no choice but to follow. The secret is not simply beginning, it is continuing. Once you choose a new identity, you must remain loyal to it even when nothing around you seems to change. There will always be a period between planting the seed and seeing the harvest. During that time, your old circumstances may appear exactly the same, and doubt may whisper that nothing is happening. Do not believe that voice. Real transformation always starts beneath the surface, in the invisible realm of consciousness, long before it becomes visible in your physical life. Your responsibility is simple. Protect your new state of mind until reality has time to reflect it. Can you continue believing you are wealthy even while your bank account still shows familiar numbers? Can you experience the peace and confidence of abundance before your eyes can confirm it? If you can remain faithful to that inner reality, your outer world cannot remain the same forever. This is not wishful thinking, it is the natural operation of the law. Now let's explore something that often confuses people: detachment. Many assume detachment means giving up or pretending not to care about their desires. It doesn't. True detachment means your happiness, your confidence, and your sense of identity are no longer dependent on whether your desire has appeared yet. You still desire wealth, but you no longer feel incomplete without immediate evidence of it. Attachment creates tension. When you constantly wonder if your manifestation has arrived, repeatedly check your finances or search for proof every day, you reinforce the feeling of not having. The subconscious responds to that emotional state, not merely to the words you speak, but when you quietly know within yourself, I am already abundant because abundance is part of who I am. Everything changes. You stop chasing. You stop forcing. You begin living as someone who already possesses the life they desire. From that relaxed certainty, manifestation unfolds naturally, just as water naturally flows downhill. The state you consistently occupy determines the experiences you attract. If your dominant feeling is lack, life reflects more situations that confirm limitation. If your dominant feeling is gratitude, prosperity, and confidence, life begins presenting opportunities that match those qualities. This is not simply inspirational language, it is how consciousness operates. So, whenever you affirm, I am rich, I am abundant, speak those words from a place of quiet certainty, not from desperation, not from anxiety, not from the hope that they will someday become true. Speak them as someone who already knows they are true. Trust that the outer world is arranging itself in ways you cannot yet see, and allow life to unfold without constantly trying to control every detail. Another powerful force in this process is gratitude. Gratitude is much more than saying thank you. It is the emotional recognition that your life is already filled with blessings, even while greater blessings are on their way. When you genuinely appreciate what already exists, you naturally enter the emotional state of abundance. That feeling becomes a signal to your subconscious, strengthening the identity you are creating. Some people worry that becoming grateful will make them lose their ambition. The opposite is true. Gratitude does not stop growth. It expands your ability to receive. A grateful person approaches life with openness instead of scarcity. They naturally notice opportunities that fear would have overlooked. Gratitude creates an inner atmosphere where abundance feels normal rather than exceptional. As you repeat, I am rich, I am abundant, allow genuine appreciation to fill those words. Appreciate the resources already available to you. Appreciate the opportunities still unseen. Appreciate your imagination, the incredible creative power that allows you to choose a new identity at any moment. This attitude doesn't slow manifestation, it prepares you to receive it more fully. Finally, remember that this teaching is never an excuse to avoid action. Living in the feeling of abundance does not mean sitting still and expecting wealth to appear without participation. Instead, your new inner state naturally inspires different actions. That is the difference. Actions driven by fear feel forced and exhausting. Actions inspired by abundance feel natural, peaceful, and purposeful. Someone who truly believes they are prosperous thinks differently, notices possibilities others miss, invests in themselves with confidence, and carries themselves with quiet assurance. They don't chase opportunities from panic. They respond to inspiration because it matches who they have already become within. Whenever an idea excites you, a new door opens, or you feel guided toward learning something new or meeting someone meaningful. Follow those impulses, not from desperation, but from the confidence of someone already living in abundance. There is another principle that every truly prosperous person understands. Everything in nature is designed to flow. Air moves freely, water keeps moving, energy constantly circulates. Life itself exists because nothing remains stagnant. Wealth follows the same principle. Money is not meant to be trapped by fear. It is meant to move freely through your life. A person who genuinely feels abundant does not cling tightly to every dollar out of fear that more will never come. Instead, they handle money with wisdom, confidence, and trust, knowing that abundance is the natural rhythm of the universe. This does not mean spending carelessly or ignoring responsibility. It means releasing the fear that says, if I let go, there won't be enough. The truly abundant person understands that giving, investing, creating, and receiving are all part of the same cycle. Just as every breath requires both inhaling and exhaling, prosperity requires both receiving and allowing wealth to continue flowing. Ask yourself honestly, where am I holding on too tightly? Where am I making decisions from fear instead of trust? How would the version of me who already feels wealthy handle this situation? These questions reveal whether you are living from abundance or from scarcity. Now let's explore something even deeper, your sense of worth. Every affirmation rests upon the beliefs you carry about yourself. You can repeat, I am rich, I am abundant, 1,000 times, but if a hidden part of you still believes you are undeserving of success, that belief quietly shapes your experience behind the scenes. Many of these beliefs were never consciously chosen. Perhaps they came from childhood. Perhaps they were absorbed from family, society, painful experiences, or repeated disappointments. Over time, they became silent programs running in the background of your mind. But those programs are not your identity. They are simply old conditioning. The truth is far greater. You are an expression of infinite creative intelligence. Your value is not determined by your income, your past, your mistakes, or anyone else's opinion of you. Your worth has never depended on external achievements. It has always existed. You do not earn your right to abundance. You were born with it. As you continue affirming, I am rich, I am abundant, allow another truth to settle deeply within you. I am worthy. I deserve abundance because life itself flows through me. Let this belief strengthen every affirmation until your words are no longer something you repeat, but something you naturally believe. Many people also struggle with another question. Is wanting wealth selfish? The answer is no. Your lack does not improve another person's life. Your struggle does not remove someone else's struggle. Scarcity is not a virtue. When you become genuinely prosperous, you expand your ability to help others. You have greater freedom to give, to create opportunities, to support people, and to make a meaningful difference. Abundance allows generosity to grow. It becomes a blessing that extends far beyond your own life. The universe is not operating from a limited supply where one person's success requires another person's loss. Abundance is not a competition. It is an endless current available to everyone willing to align themselves with it. Claim your prosperity without guilt. Receive it without apology. As your life becomes richer, your influence naturally becomes greater, allowing your abundance to touch the lives of countless others. The more fully you accept your own abundance, the more freely you can become a source of encouragement, opportunity, and blessing for the world around you. As we come to the final part of this message, there is one last principle you must understand. It is patience. Many people delay or even cancel their own manifestations because they become impatient. They expect immediate proof, and when they don't see instant results, they begin doubting everything they have been building within. But every seed follows its own season. The seed you plant in consciousness is no different. Once it has been impressed upon the subconscious, it begins growing according to a perfect rhythm. Your responsibility is not to force the process or demand constant evidence. Your responsibility is simply to remain loyal to the new identity you have chosen. Resist the urge to check for proof every day. Do not keep searching your surroundings for signs that something is happening. Do not stare at your bank account hoping today's number will suddenly be different. That habit of constantly checking comes from the emotional state of someone who believes they still don't have what they desire. And remember, life always responds to your state of being, not merely your intentions. Instead, rest in quiet confidence. Know that what has been accepted in consciousness is already moving toward expression. Whether you can see it today or not makes no difference. Continue living each day as the version of yourself who already experiences wealth and abundance. Trust the process. Trust the law. It has never failed because it simply reflects what you consistently believe yourself to be. Now, before we finish, remember this above all else. You are the creative power in your own life. Your consciousness is the foundation upon which every experience is built. Whatever you consistently accept as true within yourself eventually becomes visible in your external world. This is not true only sometimes. It is true every time, without exception. That is why the affirmation, "I am rich, I am abundant," should never become empty words repeated out of habit. It is not a sentence to memorize. It is an identity to embody, a way of thinking, a way of feeling, a way of moving through life. Allow these words to shape your decisions, your confidence, your conversations, and even the smallest moments of your day. Let them become as natural as your breathing. As you repeatedly return to this state, your outer circumstances will gradually reorganize themselves to match your new inner conviction. They have no other choice. This journey has never been about struggling harder or forcing life to obey you. It has always been about remembering the truth that already exists within you. Beneath years of doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs, your natural state has always been abundance. You are not creating something new. You are uncovering what has always belonged to you. So leave this moment carrying these words not only in your mind, but in every part of your being. Let them influence your posture. Let them soften your breathing. Let them fill your heart with quiet certainty. Walk through your days with calm confidence. Protect this new self-image from fear, worry, and doubt. Return to it again and again until it becomes your automatic way of living. Declare with complete conviction, "I am rich, I am abundant." Not because you are hoping it will happen someday, but because this is the identity you now choose to live from. The power you have been searching for has never existed outside you. It has always lived within your own consciousness. The moment to embrace it is now. You are not waiting for a miracle, you are the miracle. And as you remain faithful to this truth, you will watch your world transform, not through force, but through the quiet power of becoming the person you have already chosen to be.